Welcome to America Uncanceled, another great episode. And guess what? You can catch us on our podcast as well. This is happening, people. Yes, so you don't have to watch it only online, but you're going to be able to listen to it. So make sure you tune in to our podcast where we're also delivering all this great news analysis from the Schlaps. But my other half is not with me today. So I decided I was going to invite a wonderful, wonderful member of Congress, Congressman Roger Williams, who represents one of the districts in Texas, which there's a lot going on there. And he's also the vice ranking member of the Small Business Committee. Congressman, thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm good, Mercy. Thank you. Good to be with you always.
Well, I told you were on with Jen and I, a couple nights ago, and I literally texted the team and I'm like, we need Roger back because we need your common sense to help and your wisdom to help us navigate through what I think is very chaotic times. And let's just start real quick with one of the most breaking news, very tragic story coming out of Texas, where 46 migrants were found dead in San Antonio inside an 18-wheeler. I mean, this is, I think, one of the largest fatality numbers that we have seen coming out of Texas because of this chaotic border crisis. Your initial thoughts?
It's a tragedy, and it's another one of those things you almost don't want to listen to it. It's so bad. These are human lives, but this is what happens when you let a border just go crazy, and you don't have any security, and you give up your sovereignty, and people think they can just come on in here and paying these money to the drug dealers, the coyotes. It's a horrible situation, and we've got to secure our border. We've got to have people coming through the ports of entry, not between, and wanting to come legally and not illegally. But right now, it's the wild, wild west of the Texas border, and the drug cartels and the coyotes are in charge. And President Biden has left his position as being the leader of our country to defend our borders. We're leaving it to our Border Patrol. They're overwhelmed. You know that. You've been down there, and right. It's a real crime. It's a crime actually, and it's a shame.
And they do believe it's a human smuggling situation, is what's first being reported out here. I mean, up to what point, as you're talking to law enforcement, as you're talking to the Border Patrol agents, I mean, what's their message? Are they going to be able to survive the next 2.5 years with Biden as our president and yet not have the resources to basically tackle this border crisis?
Yeah, I was down there, I guess now 2 weeks ago, spent a whole day with our great Border Patrol, and they want the assets, they want the support of this administration. They want to do what they're trained to do, and that's defend borders and help people get to the right place when they need to be, and not come in here illegally. But they just want support. They need equipment, and so that's what they want. Everything they want is what they deserve and what they should have, and it should be easy for this president to get that to them. But here again, we're open borders. Sovereignty means nothing. I heard today where these even blaming this on Trump. So November is going to be really important for a lot of reasons, and this is going to be another one of them. Is we've got to put people in that will defend borders and preserve our sovereignty and keep people alive and let them realize the American dream and let them come through, the legal way and not the illegal way.
Well, when you're talking over 1 million illegal immigrants have come through the border in just the past year, the fact that you're seeing these kind of secret flights where they drop off illegal immigrants throughout the cities throughout the country, I mean, is there any response coming from the Biden administration? I mean, you all have done what you can to send a direct message to Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and the Biden administration to stop this border madness. But what's their response so far? Have we gotten a response?
Well, there's no response. I've written several letters to Mayorkas. No response. They want this chaos. They even think the border's secure, if you can imagine that.
Wow.
But what they're doing, I mean, is tearing our country apart. I can't get in their head. I can't figure out why anybody, whether you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, why you would want this to happen in our country and put property owners on notice that their property is not worth anything. Their borders don't mean anything anymore. I mean, it's hard to imagine why are they doing this? But Mayorkas should be impeached. He should be fired because he's really left his job and checked out. And you got Vice President Harris as the border czar, who's never been down here, and you got the president who's never been down here, but yet he had time to come to Uvalde and at the horrible events down there, and didn't have time to go a few hundred miles to the border and thank our Border Patrol for what they're doing. So it's a messed up situation, and the world knows it. And look at Mercy, we see who comes across the border, and these are not workers coming across for seasonal work. I mean, we got Russians, we've got Chinese, we've got the Yemenis, we got the Venezuelans, we got Iranians. Right. They're all coming into our country. And what are they going to do when they're here? They're going to try to tear it apart. And, you've seen the numbers, 3 and 4 million people are already here. We don't know who they are, where they are, anything about them. And that's a city the size of, say, Dallas, Texas, that's just moving around America. And we don't know anything about it. And then you brought up the flights at night. And, of course, when you know something's wrong, you do it under the cover of darkness, don't you?
Yeah.
And they know these flights are wrong. They're sending them into cities that don't even know they're coming. We have an issue with San Angelo right now in Texas. So it's a challenge. But you look at this, and this is everything the enemy would do if they were in charge. If Putin was in charge of America, he would be doing this very thing to harm our country.
Well, we're seeing as well that the G7 meetings are wrapping up with President Biden along with other European leaders. We saw that President Macron made certain comments basically kind of out loud in front of the media, saying that the Saudis are not going to give you all Americans more oil. Well, we are right now facing a huge energy crisis in the United States. Gas prices have skyrocketed. The American people can barely pay their bills. I can't imagine as we go into the winter months what that looks like from an electricity standpoint. So is Biden truly prepared to just kneel down in front of the Saudis and say, please give me more oil? I mean, where's his head on this?
I don't know. He's embarrassing to begin with. We're embarrassing our nation. If he goes and does that, it's just horrible. The bottom line is he doesn't even need to go over there. What he needs to do is open up our energy sector again, all the above, let everybody compete for what they want. But we are the energy producing country in the world. And we need to open it up. We need to get back to business again. We need to take care of America. We need to take care of our allies, take care of our customers, for crying out loud, and get this thing going. And that would send a huge message to the world that America was back. America's in the game. We're ready to play, and so forth. But where his head is not in the right spot. Because our enemies, they want him to be weak. Right. Because now that makes them strong. A strong America keeps the world from imploding, and we need to get back to that as quick as we can. Let's compete, and let's not worry about the profits of our energy companies. Profits are good, Mr. Biden, or President Biden. They're good, and let profits work. Margins are tight, but when you make profits, you give service to your customers, and that's what America's about.
Gosh, that is such a perfect way to describe it. And I know you, as being a small business owner as well, I mean, what impact has this energy crisis had on the mom and pop gas stations across the country?
Well, it's had a huge impact. I mean, they can't get it. The price is sky high, and he gets confused. See, he doesn't know the difference between a gross dollar and a sales dollar. And just because gasoline's 6, 7, 8%, more than likely those stations are making the same margin they were when it was dollars than when it was $3. Because it's just, so they're not making any more because the dollars are inflated. That's inflation. And that has nothing to do with what you make. Margins, it actually squeezes the small businesses because they have a hard time keeping employees, paying employees on inflated dollars. So he's confused. Somebody needs to explain business to him, that just because you have a high dollar cost does not mean that the margins go in line with what the dollar increase is.
We have seen now, Congressman, the report saying that the GOP has increased by 1 million voters that have registered as Republicans. Democrats have failed behind. This is happening in suburban areas in medium and large sized cities. So there is definitely a trend as we're moving into these midterm elections where Republicans have a great advantage. We just saw the great win down in Texas with Congresswoman Maite Flores. the first Mexican American Republican in Congress, Mexican American born, who's come into Congress. And so let me ask you this: as we're going into the midterms, the Democrats are quickly trying to shift their narrative. They're trying to make abortion and the Roe v. Wade ruling be their center right now to try to win these suburban women. But do you think that that's going to be enough to sway some of these districts back in the Democrats' column?
Well, absolutely not. And I think the Supreme Court made the right decision on Roe v. Wade. But everybody talks about how this is the one issue is going to turn people on the left. Well, you know what? It's turned people on the right too. So that cancels that out. What's going to happen on the morning of the elections? People can go to fill their tanks so they can go vote, and they're going to see what the price of gas is. They're going to look where their dollar's not going as far. They're going to look that their interest rates on their home mortgage may be going up, and it goes on and on and on. And they're going to look at this border situation, and it belongs to one person, Joe Biden and the Democrats. Yeah. So look, the Roe v. Wade was great. I'm sure liberals are excited, motivated. Conservatives are motivated. That washes that out. But he hadn't done anything to fix the economy. He's destroyed it, and that's what's going to hurt him. And that's why I think we're going to win sizably in November, because America's not stupid, Mercedes. They get it, and they see the difference between socialism and capitalism and free markets as we speak.
Well, it looks like, Congressman, that Kamala Harris is saying that President Biden is ready to run again, and she's going to be on the ticket. I want to play this quick clip from Kamala Harris in her interview with CNN.
Joe Biden is running for re-election, and I will be his ticket mate. Full stop. Full stop. That's it.
I mean, I don't even think the Democrats want this ticket once again, the Biden-Harris ticket for 2024. How are they going to be able to make it through the next 2.5 years?
Well, I mean, I hope it does play out to where he and she are running again. But look, it's going to be a strong message to him in November. I just think at the end of the day, people have now seen socialism. They see it doesn't work. They see what it does to their lives. They're not going for it. And what we have to do as Republicans and conservatives is we don't need to pound our chest, because what we're talking about, we're always been for lower taxes, less government, belief in the people, not the government, and so forth. We need to stick with that and make sure we don't overpromise, pick some things we can get done, make it happen. And I think we'll go into a very good strong position for 2024. We got a great bench of people that say they may run for president. And so let's win in 2022 and then focus on the next 2 years.
Yeah, it will be very interesting as we're going to start watching what these politicians and these leaders are going to do come 2024. But I do think that the focus needs to be on 2022. We can't take anything for granted as we enter into these very important midterm elections. What I find fascinating is that these Democrat candidates, don't even want to campaign with Joe Biden. They almost prefer to do their own thing, which I think is very telling. What it will be the priorities for the Republican Party if and when they win the majority?
Well, we got a lot to choose from, don't we? The status of our country, but I think we certainly need to secure the border. We need to get back to building the wall and doing the things we did under President Trump when we had very few people coming across illegally. I think we need to make tax cuts permanent. We had a great economy before COVID. We got to give more money to the people and keep it out of the hands of the federal government and let people invest and create new businesses and so forth. And I think we got to begin to get inflation down. And of course, you got to quit borrowing money that you're printing the day you print it. And we got to let the private sector compete and quit talking about tax cuts. So there's all kinds of the menu we have, but those would be three to come to my mind that would turn the country around pretty quick and we can deliver on.
Well, I got to tell you, we also have to make sure we stop critical race theory teaching in our schools. We got to make sure that we stop this craziness with the gender confusion indoctrination that they're trying to do on our children. I think that one of the things I've learned is that many of these people who are on the fence, or maybe were Democrats, they're saying that the party has left them behind. So I think it's a huge pickup opportunity for Republicans for the midterm elections. Congressman Roger Williams, thank you so much for joining me on America Uncanceled.
Tell Matt hi. Thank you, Mercedes.
I will. Thank you. And we'll be right back.
CPAC is back and is returning to the Lone Star State, Texas, August 4th through the 7th. Get tickets to see your favorite conservative leaders take the stage in Dallas. The movement that made America will be the one to save America. CPAC, Texas 22. Get your tickets today.
Welcome back to America Uncanceled. This is Mercedes Schlapp, and I just wanted to say you better register for CPAC Texas. It's happening August 4th through the 7th. This year, it is going to be a hot one as we start focusing on the countdown to the midterm elections. We've got the most dynamic speakers. We're going to have many of your favorite politicians, grassroots leaders, and those who are running for office, which is great because this is going to be such an incredible year. Joining us will be Sarah Carter, Sean Hannity, Byron Donalds, who's the congressman down in Florida, Senator Rick Scott, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who we love. She's fantastic. Lieutenant Governor from North Carolina, the rambunctious Mark Robinson, and DC Drano, who is also fantastic. So we've got all these incredible speakers coming, even more as we're getting closer to CPAC. You got to come. It's your way of getting energized and getting yourself prepared for the midterm elections. And we can't wait to see you. Just go to conservative.org to register, and register now before we sell out. Also, I'm so excited, and we'll be doing more of an official launch around our podcast, America Uncanceled. You will find it, America Uncanceled with the Schlapps, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I love Spotify personally. I have great playlists. Or wherever you listen to podcasts. So there you go. You don't have to sit there and just watch online. You actually can just download it, listen to it whenever you want to, and share it with your friends and family. So we thank you so much for all your love and support as the show continues to grow and expand. And it's because of you all, our wonderful viewers and now listeners. And remember to follow us at Mercedes Schlapp, at M Schlapp, at CPAC, to continue to figure out what's coming up next in this crazy political swamp that we live in. So you all take care. God bless and good night.